Let me ask you something. Something most men won't say out loud, even to themselves. You wake up, you check your phone. Again, no good morning, no missed you last night, not even a heart emoji or a random meme. Just silence. But the second you text her, she's there, instantly, friendly, present, even warm. She never disappears completely, but she never reaches for you first either. And here's what's eating at you. You keep telling yourself it's fine. Maybe she's just not big on texting. Maybe she's busy. Maybe she's playing it cool. But deep down, you know that's not it. Because if she wanted to talk to you, if she truly valued you, you wouldn't have to be the one holding the whole thing together with your fingertips. What if I told you her silence isn't about communication style? It's about investment? And what if the real problem isn't her behavior, but the invisible story you've been telling yourself to justify staying in this emotional limbo? This isn't about tricks. It's not about games. It's about psychological clarity and the kind of inner strength most men never develop because no one ever taught them how. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 8 powerful shifts, rooted in both ancient Stoic wisdom and modern behavioral psychology, that will not only change how she sees you, they'll change how you see yourself. And by the end, you'll finally understand why the right woman doesn't make you guess where you stand. But before we begin, hit subscribe. Because what we do here isn't fluff, it's truth. And if you're ready to stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone, you belong here. Now, let's get into it. 1. Stop rewarding her silence. Let's cut through the noise right now. If she never texts you first, but always replies when you reach out, you're not in a relationship. You're in a feedback loop of your own making. Every time you send that, "Hey, how's your day?" after radio silence. Every time you slide into her DMs with a meme just to keep the thread alive. Every time you reassure yourself with, "Well, at least she answers." You're doing something dangerous. You're rewarding her absence. And here's what that teaches her on a subconscious level. I don't have to lift a finger, and he'll still be there. This isn't about blame. It's about behavior shaping. Human psychology runs on reinforcement. If an action costs nothing but yields consistent returns, why would anyone change it? Think of it like this. Would you keep putting money into a vending machine that only sometimes gives you a snack, only if you shake it, plead with it, or insert extra coins? Of course not. You'd walk away. But in relationships, men often do the opposite. They double down. They try harder. They convince themselves that more effort will spark more interest. It doesn't. It sparks complacency. When your presence is guaranteed, no matter how little she invests, it stops feeling like a gift. It starts feeling like background noise, like Wi-Fi, always on, never missed. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your strength here isn't in convincing her to care. It's in refusing to hand over your dignity as a bargaining chip for crumbs of attention. So what do? Stop filling the silence, not as punishment, not as a test, but as an act of self-respect. Let the space between you breathe. Let her feel the weight of her own passivity. Because here's the truth. If she values you, she'll notice your absence, and she'll move toward you. If she doesn't, her silence was never about being bad at texting. It was about not caring enough to try. And that's not a reflection of your worth. It's a revelation of hers. Now ask yourself, how many times have I mistaken availability for affection? Drop that illusion. Your energy is sacred. Guard it fiercely. When your presence is guaranteed, it stops feeling like a gift and becomes background noise. Stop acting like a vending machine for her validation. If you are ready to stop filling the silence, let her feel the weight of her own passivity, and fiercely guard your sacred energy from this day forward. Comment, break the loop right now. Let the community see who is reclaiming his ground today. 2. Match her energy without losing yourself. Here's a hard truth most men ignore until it's too late. Attraction isn't built on effort. It's built on rhythm. Think of any great song. It doesn't just blast sound nonstop. It breathes, it pauses, it builds tension, then releases it. That push and pull, that's what creates feeling. Now look at your dynamic. You're sending thoughtful messages, checking in, sharing parts of your day. She replies with lol or yeah, or nothing at all for hours. But instead of adjusting, you double down. You try harder. Why? Because somewhere deep inside, you believe that if you just give enough, if you're just patient, kind, consistent, she'll finally see you. She'll wake up to your value. But here's what actually happens. The more you overinvest while she underinvests, the more the emotional gap widens. And that gap doesn't spark desire, it sparks discomfort. Not hers, yours. Because when you pour energy into someone who barely reciprocates, you don't feel generous. You feel anxious, needy, invisible. And women feel that shift, even if they never say it out loud. Stoic philosophy teaches us we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And in this case, your imagination is working overtime, concocting reasons why she's distant, rehearsing conversations that never happen, convincing yourself that her lukewarm replies mean something deeper. They don't. Her behavior is already speaking clearly. The question is, are you listening? So what do? Mirror her energy, not as a tactic, but as a boundary. If she sends short, surface-level replies, keep yours equally light. If she takes 12 hours to respond, don't rush your next message. If she never initiates plans, stop being the only one suggesting them. This isn't about playing games. It's about refusing to carry a connection alone. When you match her level of engagement, 2 things happen. First, if she's genuinely interested, she'll notice the shift and she'll step up. She'll ask questions. She'll initiate. She'll show curiosity about your life. Because now, for the first time, she has to earn your attention, not just expect it. Second, if she's not interested, the silence will grow louder. And that's not a loss. That's liberation. Because you've just freed yourself from the exhausting cycle of chasing someone who was never running toward you. Ask yourself right now, am I giving my best energy to someone who treats it like background noise? If so, it's time to redirect that energy back to yourself. Your time, your focus, your emotional presence. They're not infinite resources. Spend them where they're wanted, not just tolerated. Overinvestment doesn't spark desire, it sparks discomfort. And your emotional presence is not an infinite resource. Stop spending your focus where it is merely tolerated. If you are ready to stop carrying the weight of a one-sided connection, mirror her rhythm as an absolute boundary, and redirect your raw energy back into your own life. Comment balanced rhythm right now. Let the community see who is reclaiming his time today. 3. Reclaim your emotional control. Let's get brutally honest for a moment. You send a text, then you wait. Not consciously, no. It's subtler than that. But your thumb hovers near your phone. Your eyes flick to the screen every few minutes. And if she doesn't reply within an hour, something shifts inside you. slips. Your focus fractures. You start replaying the message in your head. Did I sound too eager? Was that joke not funny? Maybe she's mad. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your emotional state is no longer yours. It's tethered to her timing, her attention, her silence. And that's the exact moment attraction begins to evaporate. What? Because emotional dependence, no matter how well-intentioned, reads as instability, not weakness necessarily, but neediness. And neediness repels the very thing it seeks. Women are exquisitely attuned to this. They don't need you to say, "I'm anxious about us." They feel it in the slight urgency of your follow-up texts, in the over-explaining, in the way you rush to fill any gap she leaves behind. Stoic philosophy cuts straight to the core here. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Her silence isn't the problem. Your reaction to it is. So let's flip the script. Her response, or lack thereof, is information, not validation. It tells you about her level of investment. It says nothing about your worth. The man who understands this doesn't spiral when his phone stays dark. He redirects his energy back to his work, his gym routine, his friends, his purpose. He lives so fully that her silence becomes irrelevant noise. And ironically, that's when she starts to notice. Because a man who is emotionally self-contained radiates something rare in today's world. Unshakable calm. He's not waiting. He's living. He's not hoping. He's building. He's not wondering if she'll text. He's too busy becoming someone worth texting first. Try this experiment right now. For the next 48 hours, refuse to let a single notification dictate your mood. If she replies, great. Respond with warmth, but don't rearrange your day around it. If she doesn't, keep moving. Post your workout. Finish your project. Call your brother. Reclaim your inner sovereignty. Because the moment you stop outsourcing your peace to her behavior, you become untouchable. And that's not just attractive. It's transformative. Her silence is merely data, not a referendum on your worth. Stop outsourcing your peace to the timing of a notification. If you are ready to break the anxious attachment, reclaim your inner sovereignty, and build an emotional state that is completely untouchable, comment "untouchable sovereign" right now. Let the community see who is holding his center today. 4. Let absence do the work. Most men believe they lose a woman by pulling back. But the truth? They lose her by never pulling back at all. Think about it. If you're always there, texting first, checking in, offering reassurance, filling every silence, she never gets the chance to feel your presence. Because she never experiences your absence. And without absence, there's no contrast. Without contrast, there's no value. This isn't poetic exaggeration. It's human nature. Imagine your favorite song. Now imagine hearing it on repeat, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. At first, it thrills you. Then, it soothes you. Then, it fades into background noise. Not because the song changed, but because its constant availability robbed it of impact. That's exactly what happens when you overexpose yourself emotionally. You think you're building intimacy. What you're actually doing is removing all mystery, all space, all room for her to miss you. And missing someone, that's where desire lives. So here's the shift. Stop cushioning her indifference with your constant presence. Don't vanish dramatically. Don't send cryptic "I need space" messages. Just stop initiating. Stop over-communicating. Stop being emotionally on call. Let the air between you grow quiet, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. And watch what happens. If she values you, That silence won't feel comfortable. It'll feel noticeable. She'll wonder why your energy shifted. She'll notice the missing "good morning." She might even reach out, not because you demanded it, but because she genuinely felt the gap. But if she doesn't? If the silence stretches and she never blinks? Then you've just received one of the clearest answers life can give. She was fine with you carrying everything alone. Stoic wisdom aligns perfectly here. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." But the same applies to longing, to attachment, to emotional urgency. Delay your response. Create space. Let time reveal truth. Absence isn't punishment, it's a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. So ask yourself, have I been so afraid of losing her that I've erased my own presence? If yes, it's time to step back. Not to manipulate, but to reclaim your power. Because the right woman doesn't need you to hover to remember you exist. She notices when you're gone. And she moves toward you before you even have to ask. Without absence, there is no contrast. And without contrast, there is no value. Stop erasing your own presence by being emotionally on call. If you are ready to stop cushioning her indifference, embrace the power of space and let time reveal the absolute truth. Comment, "Strategic contrast," right now. Let the community see who is stepping back today. 5. Test her interest without saying a word. Let's be brutally clear about something most men avoid confronting. You don't actually know if she's interested. You assume she is, because she replies, because she laughs at your jokes, because she hasn't ghosted you completely. But replying isn't investing. Staying around isn't the same as choosing you. As long as you're the one carrying the entire weight of connection, texting first, keeping conversations alive, suggesting plans, you've made it effortless for her to coast. And coasting feels like interest until you remove the crutch. So here's your next move. Quiet, calm, and decisive. Stop initiating. Completely. Not forever. Not dramatically. Just long enough to let the truth surface. This isn't manipulation. It's not a test in the childish sense. It's creating space for her to reveal her real level of care. Through action, not words. Watch what happens. If she values you, she'll notice your absence. She'll send a, "Hey, everything okay?" She'll ask when she'll see you next. She'll show curiosity, concern, or initiative. Not because you demanded it, but because she genuinely missed your presence. But if she doesn't? If days pass and she never reaches out, if your silence feels comfortable to her, that's not indifference. That's confirmation. It confirms she was fine with you doing all the emotional labor while she remained passive. And that's not a relationship. That's convenience. The Stoics would call this amor fati, love of fate. Not clinging to what you wish were true, but embracing what is. So you can act with clarity, not illusion. Too many men stay stuck because they fear the answer. They'd rather live in hopeful uncertainty than face painful truth. But truth sets you free. Because once you know where you stand, you stop wasting energy on someone who never intended to meet you halfway. Ask yourself honestly, if I disappeared for a week, would she even notice? Not, would she eventually text? But would she feel your absence? If the answer gives you pause, that's your signal. Now, go quiet. Observe. Let her actions speak louder than your hopes. And remember, you're not losing her. You're losing the fantasy that she ever truly showed up. Replying is not investing, and coasting is not a relationship. Stop living in hopeful uncertainty because you fear the truth. If you are ready to remove the crutch, let her actions reveal her real level of care, and trade convenient fantasies for absolute psychological clarity. Comment amor fati right now. Let the community see who is observing with clarity today. 6. Raise your standards, silently and unapologetically. Let's cut to the core of why this pattern keeps repeating in your life. It's not because you're unlucky. It's not because women are like this. It's because you've allowed silence to become acceptable. Every time you accept crumbs, polite replies, lukewarm energy, zero initiation, you send a quiet message to yourself. This is enough. And that lie, it corrodes your self-worth from the inside out. Because standards aren't just about what you say you want. They're about what you tolerate when no one's watching. The Stoics didn't preach perfection. They preached principles. And one of their clearest teachings is this: you are not disturbed by things, but by your view of them. So ask yourself, what story have I been telling myself to justify staying with someone who treats my presence as optional? Maybe it's, she's just busy. She's been hurt before. I don't want to seem needy. But beneath all those excuses lies a deeper fear. What if this is the best I can get? That fear is the enemy of your dignity. Because the truth is, the right woman doesn't make you guess. She doesn't leave you wondering if she cares. She doesn't wait for you to carry every conversation, plan every meetup, or prove your value over and over. She shows up, consistently, willingly, enthusiastically, because she wants to. Raising your standards isn't about ultimatums or dramatic exits. It's about quietly refusing to participate in dynamics that drain you. It's choosing to invest your energy only where it's eagerly received, not merely tolerated. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you raise your standard, not with words, but with action, two things happen. First, women who are only half in will naturally fade away. Not because you pushed them out, but because they can no longer exist comfortably in a space that demands more than passive presence. Second, the kind of woman you actually deserve, the one who values depth, reciprocity, and emotional courage, will recognize your energy. She'll feel your boundaries not as rejection, but as clarity. And clarity is magnetic. So stop shrinking your expectations to fit her comfort zone. Your peace is non-negotiable. Your time is finite. Your heart deserves more than polite indifference wrapped in occasional attention. Ask yourself now, am I holding on to someone who only stays because I make it effortless? If yes, it's time to choose yourself, not once, but every single day. Standards are not what you say you want. They are exactly what you tolerate when no one is watching. Stop shrinking your expectations to fit her passive comfort zone. If you are ready to stop accepting crumbs, quietly refuse to participate in dynamics that drain you, and establish a boundary of absolute magnetic clarity from this moment on, comment "magnetic clarity" right now. Let the community see who is choosing himself today. 7. Stop confusing availability with compatibility. Here's a trap so subtle most men walk right into it and never realize they've been caught. You see her reply to your texts. She laughs at your jokes. She shows up when you plan something. She doesn't ghost you. So you tell yourself, we're compatible. But compatibility isn't measured by how well someone responds when you do all the work. It's revealed by whether they want to do the work with you. Availability is passive. Compatibility is active. A woman can be available without being invested. She can enjoy your attention without ever initiating it. She can like the idea of you without ever choosing you in practice. And that's where men get stuck. They mistake surface-level harmony for genuine connection. They confuse "she's nice when I talk to her" with "she truly wants me in her life." But real compatibility shows up in the small things. She remembers what you told her last week. She sends you a song because it reminded her of your conversation. She texts first just to say, "This made me smile. Thought of you." Not because she's obligated, because she wants to. Stoic philosophy teaches us to judge people not by their words, but by their actions over time. As Marcus Aurelius put it, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The same applies here. Don't argue with yourself about whether she cares. Let her consistent behavior show you the truth. If she only engages when prompted, if her world never naturally includes you, then you're not incompatible. You're just convenient. And convenience is not a foundation. It's a placeholder until something or someone more compelling comes along. So ask yourself this hard question. If I stopped reaching out entirely, would she even notice I was gone? Not, would she eventually text? But would my absence create a void in her daily life? If the answer is no, or if you're not sure, that's not your cue to try harder. It's your cue to redirect your energy, because the right woman won't just tolerate your presence. She'll seek it. She won't just reply, she'll initiate. She won't just show up. She'll reach out first, unprompted, because your voice, your mind, your energy matters to her. Stop settling for someone who treats you like an option. Start making space for someone who sees you as a priority. Availability is passive, but true compatibility is active. And convenience is nothing more than a temporary placeholder. Stop settling for a woman who merely tolerates your presence. If you are ready to stop mistaking politeness for passion, refuse to carry a dead-end dynamic, and start making space only for those who see you as a priority. Comment, active priority, right now. Let the community see who is demanding depth today. 8. Become the man who doesn't need her to reach out first. This is where everything converges. Not in tactics, not in strategies, but in identity. Because the ultimate goal isn't to get her to text you first. It's to become so grounded in your own worth that whether she does or doesn't, it no longer shakes you. Most men approach this situation from a place of lack. If she just reached out, I'd feel seen. I'd feel valued. I'd finally know I matter. But here's the paradox. The moment you need her initiation to feel secure, you've already lost the foundation of attraction. Women don't chase men who are waiting to be chosen. They lean into men who have already chosen themselves. Stoic philosophy calls this eudaimonia, flourishing through inner alignment, not external validation. You don't become worthy when she texts you. You become magnetic when you stop needing her to. So how do you embody this? First, redirect your focus inward. Instead of monitoring her behavior, monitor your standards. Instead of analyzing her replies, analyze your energy. Are you acting from clarity or from fear? Second, build a life so compelling that silence can't dim it. Pursue goals that excite you. Cultivate friendships that energize you. Develop routines that ground you. When your days are full of purpose, her absence stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like irrelevant data. Third, refuse to confuse attention with intimacy. A woman can reply to your texts for months and never truly see you. Real connection isn't built on consistency of response. It's built on mutual curiosity, shared vulnerability, and enthusiastic presence. And if she never offers those, then she was never your person, no matter how much you hoped she could be. Here's the final truth. The right woman won't make you wonder if she cares. She'll show up, not perfectly, but consistently. She'll initiate. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence matters to her. And And until then, let your silence speak louder than your longing. Because the man who walks in self-respect doesn't beg for space in someone's life. He creates a world so rich, so alive, so unshakable, that the right woman doesn't just reach out first. She runs toward him. Ask yourself now, am I trying to fix a connection? Or am I ready to become the kind of man who attracts one that doesn't need fixing? True magnetism doesn't belong to men waiting to be chosen. It belongs to men who have already chosen themselves. Stop using her attention as a barometer for your worth. If you are ready to shift your identity, stop analyzing her replies and step into an inner alignment that can never be shaken by her silence. Comment "inner alignment" right now. Let the community see who is choosing himself today. Conclusion: let's bring this home, not with a summary, but with a reckoning. You came here because something inside you knew the truth. This isn't about getting her to text first. It never was. It's about refusing to betray yourself for the illusion of connection. Every time you reached out into silence, hoping this time would be different. Every time you convinced yourself she's just like that, while your chest tightened with quiet disappointment. Every time you mistook her passive presence for genuine interest. You weren't just tolerating indifference. You were teaching yourself that your worth depends on someone else's willingness to acknowledge it. And that's the deepest wound of all. But today changes that. Because now you see clearly. Her silence isn't mystery. It's measurement. It measures how much she's willing to invest in you. And you've been measuring your value against it far too long. Your effort isn't love. It's only love when it's reciprocated. Otherwise, it's emotional labor disguised as devotion. And your peace? That's non-negotiable, not something to bargain away for crumbs of attention. The Stoics didn't seek control over others. They sought mastery over themselves. And that's your path forward. Stop shrinking your life to fit her comfort zone. Stop rehearsing messages in your head like a performance. Stop letting a notification dictate your mood. Instead, build a life so grounded, so purposeful, so alive, that her silence doesn't echo in your mind. It simply passes through, unnoticed. Because the man who knows his worth doesn't wait to be chosen. He chooses himself, daily, fiercely, without apology. And when he does, the right woman doesn't just text first. She shows up fully, because she sees a man who refuses to settle for less than mutual care. So ask yourself one final question. Who do I become if I stop chasing and start standing firm? That man is already inside you. Today was the day you stopped hiding him. Your worth was never up for debate, and your peace is non-negotiable. Stop trading your dignity for crumbs of attention. If you are ready to stop chasing, shatter the illusions, and build a purposeful life where you choose yourself daily, fiercely, and without apology, comment, "I choose myself," right now as an absolute vow. Hit that subscribe button to lock into this brotherhood of clarity, and smash that like button to pass this reckoning to another man who needs to wake up today. Thank you for watching. Stay grounded, stay clear, and never forget, your worth was never up for debate.